and welcome to the Stay Healthy and Waste Less virtual class, brought to you by me. Hi, my name is Anna and I am a registered dietitian at Leah's Pantry. This is actually brought to you by a partnership between us, Fresh Approach, and the Office of Sustainability in San Mateo County. We all work together to teach classes on how to reduce food waste. And we normally teach these classes in person, but for the time being, we will be teaching these classes online. So today we're in my kitchen and I'll be giving a mini lesson on what to do with foods past its prime. So these are foods that are beginning to rot or on the brink of going bad. So I'll be showing you how to save them. So before we begin, I do have some great news. So if you are a resident of San Mateo County and you are watching this right now, please watch until the end, giving you special instructions on how to receive VeggieRx vouchers. What are these? So these are vouchers that you can use to buy fruits, vegetables, and herbs, and they're redeemable at different farmers markets. Not only in San Mateo County, but also San Francisco, Napa, Solano. You'll also be receiving voucher guides on how to use them, and it lists all the farmers markets in different counties that accept these vouchers. Some farmers markets may not be open, but I did find two. One in the College of San Mateo at the Lower Hillsdale lot. And that's open on Saturdays from 9 to 1. I also found one at Belmont. It's at the Caltrain parking lot, and it's open on Sundays from 9 to 1. Please check the status of your local farmers markets. But the great thing about these is they don't expire, so you can save them and use them at a later time. On to today's mini lesson. So I have a mini agenda for today's mini lesson. We'll be talking about where does food waste come from, why does reducing food waste matter, and what you can do about it. Specifically what you can do with foods past its prime. I'll be talking about a few things you can do, but there's many more, so please stay tuned for other classes that we'll be hopefully doing. Okay, so let's talk about the four main sources of where food waste comes from. So the first one is food processors. So these are places where food is manufactured, packaged, and processed. The next source is farms. Many farmers have to throw away produce that doesn't meet the standards of some grocery stores. So a lot of food waste has happened there. The next category is businesses. What I mean by this is consumer-facing businesses like restaurants, grocery stores, hospitals even, and schools. A lot of food waste happens there. And the next category is homes. We waste food. Now that I showed you all the four sources of where food waste happens, where do you think food waste happens the most? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. It's us. It's us. It's people at home. We waste the most food compared to all the other four sources, or three sources. So that is the reason why we're teaching these classes. The goal is really for you to learn and take away something that you can do to practice at home in order to reduce food waste, because we have the most impact. So we talked about where does food waste happen. Now let's talk about why does this matter? Why should we care? Now I think this is important to talk about because reducing food waste is really an art. It requires a change in your mindset, change in your habits. So it's important to think about the reasons why it's important, why it should matter to us. I think that keeps us motivated. So why does this matter? One being hunger. I didn't know how else to draw hunger. I think a hungry person would be very sad I'm sad when I'm hungry, but here I'm talking about chronic hunger. So over 800 million people suffer from chronic hunger. And it's not that we don't produce enough food. We produce more than enough food, but unfortunately, a lot of it goes into our waste bins. We throw away a lot of great food that can feed a lot of hungry people. So another reason is our planet. Our planet is suffering from all the food waste that happens. A lot of natural resources goes into producing food. It's water, land, so that is wasted. That is all wasted when we throw it away. And land is also wasted for all the food waste that we put in landfills. And greenhouse gases. Food waste is a huge contributor to greenhouse gases. So there's a huge opportunity for us to help save the planet, help save its limited resources, and reduce greenhouse gases. The last reason I want to touch on is money. Money is tight for many of us, especially right now. And I also think it's really important to reduce food waste since trips to the grocery stores are limited. So I can think of many other reasons why this matters, but I think these three main ones tackle a lot of big issues. So now that we talked about where food waste comes from at home and why it's important to us, now let's talk about what we can do. Yay! I will be showing you a few ways to prevent food waste using some foods that I found at home. It's near the end of the week, so I was bound to find something that was about to go bad. Haven't been to the grocery store in a while. Let's go in the kitchen and get cooking. So today we'll be using brown bananas, some really ripe avocados, and some stale bread that my family and I neglected to wrap well. So they've just dried out and are rock hard. So that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. We will save them. So let's get started. So let's start off with the brown bananas. So I want to start off by saying the brown bananas they're fine. They're fine. You can eat them. But I do notice that there are more than my family and I intend to eat. So I want to use them up before they go bad, before they go completely black. So you can use them for baking. You can make quick breads, muffins, cakes. My favorite thing, the most simple way to save these is to freeze them. Before you freeze them, I recommend peeling them and slice them up and put it in an airtight container like so. And they're great for later use. You can make them into your smoothies or frozen dessert. Today we'll be making a banana sorbet. So this just calls for 2 bananas, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, and 1.5 teaspoon of maple syrup. And I got this recipe from the Waste Free Kitchen. This has been my best friend since I became a food waste warrior. So I don't have lime juice, but I do have lemon and I do have maple syrup. So let's see how this will taste. The recipe calls to peel the 2 bananas, slice them up and freeze them until they're hard, about 2 hours or so. All I have to do is blend it all up in a food processor until it's nice and smooth and creamy. So I need to get juice out of this lemon. So a great way to get more juice out of it is to roll it. So this is a trick I show in all my classes when I'm using lemon or lime. You can also do this with the lime. Okay, capture any seeds with your fingers. Oh no, I think there's some extra fiber in there. I'm gonna hold off on the maple syrup just because I wanted to see how it tastes without it, because I think it'll be just sweet enough. So I'm noticing that it gets kind of stuck. it just requires some stirring occasionally, but it's looking like ice cream to me. Actually, I kind of like the consistency now. You can blend it until it's smooth and creamy or slightly chunky, which is my desired texture. All right, so I got a little scoop out and it kind of looks like this. And the consistency is almost like, it's kind of like sorbet. Kind of reminds me of ice cream. But it's really good. Yum. This is amazingly easy. I'm gonna add a little bit of cinnamon. Use other toppings. You can season it however you want to. You can add a bit of vanilla extract. I think that would work nice. Maybe top it off with some sliced bananas or some berries. So that was just 2 ingredients. Wow, so simple. You can store the rest in an airtight container in the freezer for later. On to the avocados. Avocados are so precious. The time it takes to ripen is forever, but once it's ripened, you have to eat it right away. So I have 3 that are ready to eat, but I think they're gonna go bad very soon. So I wanna use these up. So what can you do with ripe avocados? You can make guacamole, you can put them in a smoothie. You can also make something sweet, like a chocolate pudding. All you'll need is 3 avocados. The recipe calls for a lot more maple syrup than I think you need. So I'm gonna play around with 1/4 cup of maple syrup and 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder. All you have to do is mix it all up in a food processor or a blender and until it's creamy and smooth, kind of like what we did with the bananas, and chill it in the fridge for 30 minutes, or you can eat it right away and serve it with fruit or any toppings of your choice. Let's open these. And the avocados I got were kind of bad. They were all spoiled. They were all brown inside. So I was only able to salvage a few little pieces. I'm gonna adjust some of the amounts of ingredients. My food processor is in the sink right now. It's dirty, so we're just gonna mash it. We're just gonna mash it using a fork. You don't need a blender or a food processor. So I've mashed my half of an avocado. I put a little bit of maple syrup in here and cocoa powder. Since I only have about half an avocado, I think I'll use just maybe 1 tablespoon. Funny story with this raw chocolate pudding. Once I made it for a class and I forgot to bring the cocoa powder. So we all just had avocado pudding. It was so good, but not a lot of people were into it. Okay, I will be honest, the color is not so great. It's not like a rich, dark chocolate, but I assure you it tastes great. Looks just like pudding. Although I think the consistency might be a lot better in a blender or food processor, but the taste is just as great. Yum! So next we have some stale bread. Most breads become stale when it's exposed to air due to moisture loss. So some storage tips for preventing this from happening. It's best to keep it well wrapped. You can use foil, you can use a bread box or a paper bag. And you can also freeze. Freeze the portion that you don't plan to use within 2 days or so. My family didn't do that, so that's okay. Stale bread can also be revived by reheating, but if it's too old, you can repurpose it for bread pudding, you can use it to make stuffing, you can use it for an Italian dish called panzanella. So today we're going to be making croutons. All you'll be needing is bread, some olive oil, you can also use butter, and I'm going to be using an onion salt blend with a little bit of pepper and olive oil. So all you have to do is cube up your stale bread like so. You can also tear it, dress it with olive oil. I think I have just enough to coat these. Now now we mix. Oh, before I forget, please preheat your oven to 375. So I spread them out on a baking tray and I'll put them in to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes and tossing them occasionally so they don't burn. Okay, so I just pulled these out of the oven and let it cool for a bit. But oh my goodness, they look so beautiful. They look like real croutons. This is actually my first time making them, so I will try one. Way better than store-bought. You can also make breadcrumbs with stale bread too, I forgot to mention. You can also make these using the stovetop. You would get a saucepan and do it in batches. Obviously, you wouldn't put all this in. Coat the bottom with a little bit of oil or butter and kind of toss them until they're nice and toasted if you don't have an oven. And I do want to store these in an airtight container to keep them fresh. So that is the end of class. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had a lot of fun and learned something new that you're willing to try within the next week. I wish there was a way to share samples of the recipes for you like I normally do in a class, but there's no way to do that virtually. Maybe in the future. This is a pilot, so I would love to hear what you thought about today's class. Something that you learned and want to learn next time. We do wish to continue these classes. It might be on a different platform. We're still testing out some different things, so please stay connected for updates. San Mateo residents, if you are listening right now, please listen closely for special instructions. To get your VeggieRx vouchers, please follow the link in our bio. It will lead you to a form and ask you some contact and mailing information. That way we can mail these to you along with the voucher guide. Please let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment. You can email me. I'm at anna@leaspantry.org. I'll put it somewhere in the description. Please stay well and waste less, and I will see you all soon. Bye.